marketing. So please help me welcome Arville Craig.
Thank you, DC. And let's go. Awesome. Let's do it. So, I want to start by talking about what I see in society. I believe that right now we live in a strange, special, and significant time of history. You know, there's so much happening right now. There's disruption, there's confusion. You know, last year, COVID, there's just a lot happening right now. And I see uncertainty, but there's also opportunity, right? And as entrepreneurs, we can kind of disconnect from what most people see, right? We're independent, we're self-reliant, we're self-sufficient. And so again, we're like detached from the matrix of everyday society, right? And we can see a problem and see the potential of a product, right? We turn our ideas into income, and hopefully we can not just, you know, survive in whatever's going on and all the change and all the chaos. We can also thrive, and hopefully we can also help other people. And so I'm just grateful this morning to be here. Thank you, DC. Thank you, Howie, for allowing me to share a little bit of what I've learned, a little bit of what I know when it comes to getting not just survival, but thriving in the midst of uncertainty. You know, right now it's May, right? 2021. This marks 20 years from when I first started my first company. I was in college in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I had all these dreams. The internet was just getting out and all these kind of crazy stories. And so I had all these dreams. I read all the books. I got into self-help. I knew everything. I could quote all the quotes, speak all the stuff. I learned speed reading, and I hated school, but I began to dream about my future, and I got excited. Only issue was that the reason why I read all those books, because I worked at Barnes & Noble. I wasn't actually living like an entrepreneur, but I was reading the books, talking the talk, writing notes, and all this kind of stuff. And again, 20 years ago, what happened? 4 months later, 2 airplanes crashed into the Twin Towers, changes everything in the country. I lost my little safe and secure job, and I had to really become an entrepreneur. I had to really, make it happen. And that's my story. That's how I really got into not just hustling, but like living and figuring all this stuff out. And so from that perspective, it was chaos then. And every 10 years or so, there's always things change. There's always disruption happening. But I do think we're in a unique time. And so, again, I want to encourage you all. And the way I want to preface and talk about my talk, I don't know if we got any Gary Vee fans. Anybody know Gary Vee? Clouds and dirt. The idea, yeah. I wanted to wear my clouds and dirt K-Swiss, but my wife told me it just wouldn't work. But the way I want to preface my talk is the clouds and dirt of entrepreneurial marketing. And what that means is the Gary Vee version is like, we have these visions and dreams and 6-figure business and 7-figure business and all these crazy stuff. But you also got to sweep the floors. You got to take the customer support calls. You got to grind it out. You got to do your 12-hour days, 16-hour days, right? It's not pretty. It's not always pretty. We can look at the Instagram and looks nice. That's the clouds. Again, we want to get there, but there's a balance. And so I want to talk about entrepreneurship. I want to talk about marketing, which is my background, my strength, but with a balanced 2-prong approach, high-level concepts, and then we can get into some dirt. And if I have time to really tap into my Gary Venus, we'll do some Q&A. If you got any questions, we'll chop it up. So let's get it going. So my goal is simple. I just want you to, take one idea. I want to see you evolve to the next version of yourself, whatever that looks like. You need to do you. You don't need to be like anybody else. You need to know what that is. But I want to share with you some things that can help you get to the next level. Because my story of 20 years, I don't have the hockey stick story. That's not me. It's been a grind. It's been hard work. But I've chosen it on purpose. I chose my life. I chose this life that I live, this struggle, and I enjoy it. And for you, it's going to be different. So I want to give you some keys that I know is going to help you, things that I've learned through the hard way. So I do have some books, some giveaways. If anybody's interested, if you want to connect later on, you can just, take a snapshot here. I'll show it at the end. If you want to connect to me, just email or text me your name and email. If you want to get these slides, I've got some frameworks I'm going to go through. I'm not going to go through all my content, but I'm going to go through some frameworks that can help you. But and again, if you want to connect after this or later on next week, next month, whatever, that's my information. Of course, Arville Craig, you can connect to me there. And all the socials, it's Arville Craig, super simple. That is me. So let's do it. So the agenda is simple. I'm going to give you my bio, real short, go over some 4 core frameworks that I use when I work with people. So I have 2 types of clients, either big businesses or people that are doing a lot, and they just need me like to be a marketing ninja, to get in there, fix some stuff, and then leave. There's that kind of perspective, and I'll share more in a minute. Or if I'm working with entrepreneurs, I speak and I travel and I write. And if you are like 1 or 2 person company and you're really trying to just take it to the next level, that's where all the frameworks are, which I'll be sharing today. So, real quick, me, Arville Craig, born in Detroit, started my first company in 01, Jeb Aesthetics. Before I knew marketing, the company was called Jeb Aesthetics. Don't ask me what it means. It's just stuff I made up. In 03, I got a computer science degree, moved to Tulsa, went to seminary, whole nother story, got a master's degree from Oral Roberts University, met my wife, who was unfortunately supposed to be here. Maybe she'll show up in a minute. Started my second company, Design That Speaks. That was actually the slogan for Jeb Aesthetics. Again, got into web design, print, SEO. I was big in SEO for 4 years. Went on to Facebook and some ads, but I was never really big on ads. Got into affiliate marketing, email marketing and funnels. So just been a lot of different things I've done. I moved to Phoenix trying to retire because I was burnt out. I was purely burnt out of business. It just wasn't working. Like I said, I've been an independent hustler. I can pay my bills, but it wasn't clicking. So I tried to get a normal job. And I got recruited to move out here to work at a company that lasted about 2 years. But but I'm here. 2016, I got into chatbots, conversational marketing, messenger marketing, all that stuff. I thought that was like the evolution of email marketing. How do you convert people? How do you, increase your conversion rate and your booked call, things like that. And started chatbot funnels. I still do that. So right now I've got chatbot funnels, doing a little bit of consulting on conversational marketing and all that stuff. Design That Speaks is my regular B2B companies with lead generation, email marketing. And then this year, I'm really officially trying to step into this coaching aspect because, again, I went to seminary. This is like my new version of just trying to help people. I know a lot, I've done a lot, and that's kind of why I'm into coaching. So that's me. So the 4 core frameworks that I use to help people is the growth framework, goals, marketing, and meaning. Okay, so growth is one of the things I want to cover today. How you can grow yourself, your business, anything you want to know. I have a framework for that. One guy says, framework before work. I like that concept, right? Before you just sit down and do stuff, do you have a framework? Do you have a process to do it so that it's consistent and you can easily see it grow? So I have frameworks for that. Goals, it's not about goal setting, but how do you achieve and get results in your goals? I learned that from Ray Dalio, the book Principles. He's got some great concepts in there. I just take his thing on how to achieve goals, and I use that with my clients. Marketing, of course, that's the bread and butter, and I'll get into some ways to think about marketing. If you ever get stuck, if you're not seeing the results, because marketing is crazy, right? Because there's so much of it. There's 1,001 things you can do, and you think that the secret to your business is your marketing, and it's easily get overwhelmed. And if you don't have discipline over how you sign up for new lists and join new webinars and new master classes and new events, and everybody's got your email list, and if you leave your email on, it's overwhelming. And so I've got a simple way to think about marketing if you're not seeing traction, and that'll be one of the main things we'll go through today. And then meaning, which could be purpose, it could be your why, it could be your North Star, whatever you want to call it. It's critical that you know what makes a difference for you. Because again, you might look and you think you want something. Because again, I hit my first 6 figures, 2008, 29. I remember when I got my first big check, I'll never forget the joy, the pleasure, the fulfillment of me first hitting 6 figures lasts about 90 seconds. And that's me. Again, it's all different. You have to do you. And I got that. It was great. But then I had to go to work. All right. Then I had to actually earn the money that they paid me. So we all have to know what moves the needle emotionally. That's really critical to know what your North Star, your values are. all that kind of stuff, because it's critical. Because you easily, why does suicide happen? Why do famous people do stupid things? Because they're not fulfilled. It's not enough. So figuring out what's enough for you is just critical. So those are my 4 frameworks that I use to help people to grow and change, and just, it's a process. So let's start with the growth framework, which is kind of the overarching thing I want to give you that I want you to walk away with this simple concept. 3 aspects of it: strengths, weaknesses, and blind spots. The critical thing about this framework is, if you want to grow, it's like you have to know what you're good at or where your strengths are. And that's the thing where you spend all your time, all your energy, all your effort, all your knowledge is on your strengths. Sounds basic, but it's not. Because how many of you think you're kind of smart? How many of you are smart here? Got the classes? You can make it happen, right? We know how to figure stuff out. You get at troubleshooting. As an entrepreneur, a lot of us get in entrepreneurship because we can hustle, we can grind. And that's what I did for like 18 years of grinding. I'm really smart, I guess. I can figure stuff out. And it made my growth like this. Because I'm so smart, I can do everything. And if there's a problem, I try to solve it. Once you realize everything's not your strength, you'll never get leverage unless you don't do everything. You don't solve everything. You don't try to be the master of everything, the master of none, jack of all trades. You can't grow if you're always doing everything. And it didn't connect to me, because weaknesses sounded like weaknesses. And nobody's proud of their weaknesses. Nobody's proud of their flaws. And if your identity is connected to your weaknesses, and you can't, I don't know, for me, again, I was twisted, My automatic negative thoughts thought weaknesses were bad. And it didn't, so therefore I just read a bunch of books, signed up for a lot of courses, took a lot of classes, because I'm trying to be everything, fix everything, and it kept me stuck. So, you got to know what your strengths are. And it takes time, but once you figure it out, that's where the habits, that's where the routines come in. That's what you spend your time on, is on your strengths. Weaknesses, we're talking about your network is your net worth, right? All the relationships. To me, again, weaknesses, I wish a different word for it, but it's not a bad thing. You are strong here. You got to realize everybody's different. And if you know what your strength is, and the part where you're not that strong, there's somebody else here who's is strong there. And that's how you come together. That's why when you network and you say, hey, this is what I'm doing, ask somebody, what do you need? What are you looking for? How do you get to the next level? You need to know that for yourself, because that's how you're going to connect. Am I hitting the button or anything, or is it just on its own? Okay. So to me, that's where networking, that's where my networking and my things are starting to explode now, is that I'm finally okay with saying, yes, I did SEO and Facebook ads and Google ads. I did design. I've been doing Photoshop since 98, old head, whatever. I've been doing a lot of stuff, but that's not all my strengths. And it keeps me stuck. Because again, I know how to survive. I'm from the hood. We know how to get by. I know how to take care of my family. But, it's a new year, it's a new time, and I'm trying to get to the next level. And so depending on where you are, whatever your next level is, you definitely need to connect to somebody who loves doing what you don't necessarily love. And then blind spots. Blind spots are, and this is where coaching comes in. Blind spots, again, they're blind. So you probably don't know what they are. If you feel stuck, if things aren't happening, and you read all the books like me, it's a blind spot. It's not just a strength or weakness. There's something twisted in there. It's twisted. Something happens, it triggers you to do something, and you're doing the exact opposite thing. How do you figure that out? You got to get with somebody else. So actually, each of these levels to grow, so strengths, when you figure out your strengths, that's where your habits are, and that's the foundational level of accountability. Your peers, your friends, make sure that you do something every day, every week. Keep growing that strength, because that's the exponential growth. Your weaknesses, some people, I don't always have like typos in my emails. Like I write really well. And my strengths overshadow my weaknesses. I've never understood that. Some people who are super famous and they have bad character, they have all these flaws, but their strengths are so well developed that it overwhelms the flaws. So anyway, just want to give you this next layer of this growth system is about people. So the first level, strengths, you need people who keep you accountable, and that creates a habit where that thing just grows. Your weaknesses is where you delegate or partner with somebody else. I always tried to delegate. Now I'm looking to partner. The issue with a lot of us with delegation is that it costs money. And I ain't got no money to hire nobody. I know I got Upwork and they're $3 an hour, but they stink, right? We do these things, and so I'm like partner. If you're a player, instead of maximizing your profit and hiring the cheapest person that causes you to do so much management and oversight, you be the A player, put down your pride, connect to somebody else who's also an A player, share the profits, and that relationship can last for years versus you trying to do everything and or delegate, manage other people. If you're not a manager or delegator, it may not work. So that's what I had to learn. So this second layer, it takes people. First layer is your friends, your peers, your wife, your friends. Let's make sure I do this every day. Next level is how you delegate or partner with somebody. Then the last layer, blind spots. That's where the coaching comes in. You need somebody outside of your world to help you see your blind spots because they're blind. You need somebody to show you your thoughts. You think you're thinking correctly. As DC was saying, you got your thoughts, create your feelings, create your actions, create your results. But some of your thoughts aren't really real. Sometimes you're thinking it's a real thing and it's just a thought, it's just an idea. It's like, dude, that's not reality. That's just a thought. That's just a story. Like, oh. And like you realize some of your thoughts are optional. Anyway, that gets deep. But coaches, whatever you need, coaching are the kind of people that can help you to figure out those blind spots, to help you to not be stuck. So know yourself, trust yourself, and trust others. Okay? Know yourself, your strengths and weaknesses. I need people. You can always grow in your self-knowledge of yourself. And you have to trust yourself. Because again, once you realize this and you trust your strengths, you trust your God-given ability, that's the big thing. Your strengths will always overwhelm your weaknesses. Your strengths, your gifts, your talents are 1,000 times more powerful than your greatest flaw. Anyway, I said, this is stuff I love talking about. I love this topic. One thing I was thinking about, like celebrities. For some reason, I'm starting to love celebrities. Crazy. I know, stupid. People who get, married 5 times. I just love the attitude. Think about facing failure. There's something. You can see that they stink, they're stuck, they don't know what they're doing. But I love that heart. That's why they're constantly influencing the world. Because the world doesn't care about their failures. But anyway, this is another topic about how you embrace failures. But I love how celebrities embrace failures. Because even though, I'm just saying, anyway. So I love this. I don't know if it's Dan Sullivan. He's a super cool entrepreneurial coach dude. He says, if you focus on your weaknesses, all you end up with is strong weaknesses. And that's me. 18 years. I'm very strong in my weaknesses. So hopefully, in the next 20 years from here, I'm going to let all that go and just focus on my strengths. I love that quote. And here's a book. Just recommend his book, Who Not How. I just figured I'd throw it out there with you if you want to read a book. You could buy the book, or I could tell you what it means in 17 seconds. When you get stuck and when you have a problem, there's 2 ways you can go. Figure out how or find a who. Figure out how to do something or find a who. You can go to YouTube and figure out how to fix your plumbing or find a plumber. So just anyway, it relates to everything I've said so far. I just love the idea. It's applicable in all parts of life. Got it. Time is good. One of my little quotes. When you realize you can do anything, everything might become a distraction. If you're smart, if you can do everything, but you got to learn how to focus on your strengths. Anyway, those are my little quotes. And the next final section is the marketing framework. So I've got this, make it simple. I got these 4 pillars of content or how you want to market. Super simple. public, private, partner, and paid. So all you gotta do in your business, every day or every week or every month, when you think about how do I get more people to know about me? How do I get people to give me money? What are we doing? You got just 4 different options: public, private, partner, and paid. Okay? Public is the social media. Everybody does social media. I'm doing it for strangers or followers and fans. It's not gated. They don't have to do anything to get access to it. It's public. My content. What do you want to do? Private is your list, your database, your fans, your warm audience, people that know you, like you, trust you. You can do email, you can call them on the phone, you can do text message. You got Facebook groups, direct mail maybe, right? So partner, virtual summits, big thing, events like this, right? Podcast guests, guest blogging, guest podcasting, using other people's audiences to get traffic, to get audience, right? And then lastly, paid, Google ads, Facebook ads, personally. So those are the 4 different types of content. How are you going to publish? How are you going to distribute your content? Public, I would say, if you can, do it daily, definitely. I don't like public. I mean, it's cool, but it's slow and you can't control it, right? It works. Again, if you're a guru and you know all the Instagram algorithms, you got a big followers, you can make it happen. For me, it doesn't, but I still put it out there. You still want to show up on a regular basis with public content. Private is my favorite kind. That's, just for my email list, I stay in touch with them once a week, but they know me, right? It doesn't have to be big, but I can put an offer out there and get paid because they know me. So, and I can control it. I know who opens it. I know who clicks it. I know whatever. So, of course, you can use public content to bring people into your private content, right? So, it's just, again, then partner, I'd say there's no rules of this, monthly, bi-monthly, bi-weekly. It doesn't really matter. It's all about what kind of relationships you have with people, how you can get on stages. But I like partner. I like speaking, you can see. So I'm here, right? I'm speaking to you. This is partner content. I'm sitting here sharing my story. DC and Howie put together the event, but I'm getting off. I'm getting traffic, right? I'm getting traffic. I'm getting an audience. Y'all, some of you are going to sign up for my email or my book. You'll come up to me later. So this is a great way for me to market that not everybody does, but you can pick whichever one you like to do. It goes back to your strengths. If you like to speak, speak. If you like to write, write. If you like to do live, do live. If you need to be polished and you're worried about making mistakes in front of people, then record it, right? If you don't want people to see you, you can do a podcast. So there's frameworks within frameworks, right? There's strengths within. So however you do it. Do something on a daily basis, at least. And do something on a weekly basis, I'd say. Public, daily, private, weekly. And then paid, you can always run ads. As long as you're profitable, there's no rules there. As long as your funnel converts, right? There's no limit. As long as it's profitable and sustainable. Not just getting the leads on the front end, but you got to convert them on the back end. So that's up for you to do. So lastly, just real quick, I just wanted to touch on conversions. Because, of course, you have to have an offer that converts, right? And somebody came to me last week. They have a database of, not public. They have a database of every home that had a meth fire in the country. The database. He got this data. And he's like, I got this information. How do I sell it? He's got an idea, and somebody connects him to me. So, okay, Arville, how do I sell this? Like, what are you trying to do? He's got this email list of real estate agents, and he's trying to come up with this business model. And he first came up to me 5 months ago to help him find a way to send out 2 million emails, that he purchased. So I helped him figure that out. 4 months later, I just felt like checking in on him. Like, hey, what's going on with your business? How's it going? He's like, we're not getting any sales. You had 2 million people that you were pitching out your ideas. We all got these ideas. We may use email, we may use Google, we may use Facebook, and we get all this traffic, but we're not getting sales. What's the issue? And I'm like, have you talked to any real estate agents? Like, human to human? Like, a few. And so his offer never converted. So before you think about scaling and running ads and doing all this big stuff, make sure it converts. And the way I look at it is 10% is my goal. If I'm working with a client, I'm like, I need you to at least tell me who your audience is, and can you talk to them one-on-one, at least 10 people, and hopefully 1 out of every 10 people pulls out their credit card and gives you money. If you can't get 1 out of 10 people to give you money, you don't need a website. You don't need a social media strategy. You don't need a Facebook ad account unless you know your offer converts. It's not hard. It's just, it's a grind, but you got to actually talk to people. You got to get off the Zoom call or get on the Zoom call. But if you can get 10% code, but say, hey, I got this amazing offer, then let's talk about scaling and systems and ads and all the other flamboyant stuff. Make sense? And then lastly, of course, you got to intimately know your audience. And one thing I wanted to preface, all these things, like I'm not getting deep into how are you dealing with iOS 14, and I'm not getting to the pixels, and I'm not getting to how do you use ActiveCampaign to segment. We can get nerdy, but I want to talk to you as entrepreneurs. And even though, again, I remember hearing on a Russell Brunson podcast that he never has been in Facebook. He's never even seen what it looks like. But he can speak, and he knows concepts. So as an entrepreneur, again, I want to encourage you to just, from a high level, from the clouds, understand these concepts. Public, private, partner, and paid. Just understand that all these things ideally are moving. You don't have to know everything, but you do need to know your customer. You do need to and that's dirt, right? That's the dirt. That's what I like about Gary Vee. He may do all this crazy stuff, but he'll talk to real people and he'll understand what people are actually doing. And so you do need to talk to people and know your customer on an intimate level. Then you can, because again, when I work with clients, I don't know your customer. I can't sell something that you can't sell. No Facebook ad person, mostly, again, unless you're paying a lot more where they're doing the customer research. If they're doing the customer research and if they're doing the grind, then they're the smart one. They've got the IP. If you don't know how to sell your thing one-on-one, but yeah, it's like you hire another company to do it, you're abdicating your responsibility. Even if you don't know how to do ads or email or blogging or WordPress or ClickFunnels or ads, you do need to know your customer. Okay? Intimately. So those are the frameworks, the things you have to think through. You need to have these boxes checked in order to make sure that your marketing is profitable. I know Bill Gates said this. I think Tony Robbins says it too, whatever, but most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10. Just think long term. A lot of the things I've said today are not hacks. They're not going to change your life in a week or two. But depending on your posture and your vision and what you're trying to do, if you can pick up just one idea that I've shared today, the 10-year from now version of you is going to thank you. When I look back at my old self, I did hustle. But I'm not always proud of what the 2012 version of Arville did. He survived. He did okay. And I thank him for what he did. But when I think about the 55-year-old version of myself, I'm thinking about that. So what do I have to do now to make sure I'm tight in 10 years? Again, that's the clouds and the dirt. I've got to hustle right now. And if you're always hustling, if you're always surviving and just trying to pay your bills, it keeps you like this. I know we're going to talk about other things later on today, and they'll probably get into just some perspectives that deal with compound interest and compound growth and all those things that I never really did because I was always hustling and grinding and super smart and on YouTube and working 18 hours a day. But think about the 10-year from now version of yourself and pick up 1 or 2 ideas that will help that version. And summary, entrepreneurial growth relies on self-awareness of your strengths, your weaknesses, and blind spots. Then I'll say exponential growth is when you leverage and collaborate with other people in each of those 3 areas. And then 4 pillars of content. This will help you to be consistent and profitable if you're hitting all those 4 pillars with an offer, of course, that converts. And intimately staying in touch with the needs, the pains, the desires of your customer. That'll do it. Again, you want to snap a picture. We've got 45 seconds. Any questions? Any marketing questions? Just curious. No worries if not. Catch me later. But thank you. Appreciate you for your time. And I will hand this off to the MC. Woo! Ow! Thank you.